This year, I did a lot of random stuff, and just like last year, I'm making a big ol' best of video of the Today I series. It's not all the videos that came out this year, mainly just the ones I think are important, didn't get enough love, or ones I want to give you an update on. So spliced in between some of them is going to be little updates here at the desk. There isn't updates for everything, but a good majority of them have them, so let's just start in release order. Today I played on 2B2T, the oldest Anarchy server in mind. So I booted up version 119, sat in the server queue for an hour and a half, and oh yeah, I've played this once before. That's okay, because I immediately died, so we're basically starting from scratch. It happens to the best of us. As you can see, spawn is a nightmare. After so many years of griefing, there's barely any ground, lava casts everywhere, no supplies, and a lot of withers. So after about an hour of escaping spawn, it's time for me to start adventuring. My only goal is to find something cool and a set of iron gear. Thankfully, I found both of those in the same spot. What the fuck? Yeah, I didn't expect to find giant buff duck statues though. There were some iron blocks nearby, so I made some gear, and I did it. That's enough 2B2T for me. It was fun though. I would recommend trying it out, but you know, waiting in queue sucks, so just be prepared for that. Today I got a green screen. I've been really lucky that ever since I started making videos, I've just had access to a green screen. Both my high school and college had dedicated rooms, and they've let us come back and occasionally use them, which is really nice. But if I want a green screen anywhere at any time, I'm gonna have to buy my own. Now there are a ton of options when it comes to green screens. You can get big screens, small screens, just the different colors, fabric. You can just paint a wall green too. That's also an option. But I'm on a budget, and for the content I like to make, I don't need the perfect setup. So I decided to start simple and just get this big fabric sheet from Newer. After using it for a couple projects, I'll say it's not the most convenient. I guess I didn't realize how big it was, so I'll need to pick up some kind of stand to hold it up. But since I don't need it super often, it'll work for now. So yeah, if you guys also use green screens and have any recommendations for stand kits, let me know in the comments. Update, it's still a pain to use, but it works well. Almost a year after buying it, I still have not got a stand. I've just been clipping it onto things. I definitely recommend saving up if you're gonna get a green screen, to get one that comes with a stand. It's probably a good idea. Or have a spot in your house that is like, you know, specified to like hang a green screen up, right? I know Michael has one and he just nailed it into his wall, like in front of his closet, so. But yeah, I've been using it for a good amount of videos now. There was a lot for Shorts Month. There was, I think, the 100 sub special. A couple miscellaneous projects, I'm sure. It's a good product though. You know, it's a green screen. Green screens are good. I recommend them for anybody trying to get into video editing and stuff. As long as you've got a spot to hang it. Today I mounted my monitor vertically. The past few months I've been trying out a ton of different monitor layouts. 1, 2, 3, vertical, horizontal, top, bottom, just trying out all the flavors. I used to be a hardcore believer in the triple horizontal layout, but I found that I never really needed the third monitor, and I'd like to have more table space, which landed me at 1 center horizontal and 1 side vertical. Now, why did I choose this layout? Because it gives me the best of all the options. It takes up less space, it acts as both a second and third monitor when I need it to. There are situations where having a vertical screen is just better, and it's just different and new, and I like to try new things. This probably won't be the best setup for everyone, but for the stuff I do, it's been working good. I'd be interested to know what kind of setups you guys have though. Any weird or wacky ones I should try? Let me know in the comments. Update. I moved and I'm still using this thing vertically. One piece of important information that I cut from the video because it would have just made it just a touch longer than a minute is that you need Windows Power Toys to make this setup functional. If you don't know, Power Toys is an official Microsoft program. You know, it gives you more control over your PC. It's basically just cool things that they want to put in Windows, but for some reason they haven't. And what you need specifically out of this is fancy zones. So, you know, if you like drag and drop a program on like the corners of a screen or like the sides, it'll snap to it and resize it. It's that, but on crack. And the reason you need that is because for some reason, when you vertically set a monitor in Windows, it will still snap things to the left and right, not up and down. So like if I snap things to like the left, it'll just create this really awkward long column, and that's not helpful whatsoever. So you need to set up fancy zones so you can hold shift and then do the thing. I have no idea why Windows has not fixed this kind of an issue yet. Maybe it's just because they don't think a lot of people use them vertically, and a lot of people don't, But yeah, Windows Power Toys, fancy zones. That's what you need if you want to use a setup like this. Today I learned how to solder. Soldering is one of those skills I've always been interested in learning, but just haven't done it yet. But with a recent sale and a rise in little projects I'd like to do, I finally cracked and bought one. This is the Pinesil 64, a relatively cheap, portable, and easy-to-use soldering iron. The concept is pretty simple. The tip heats up several hundred degrees, and then you poke a little metal connection on the circuit board. This turns metal on the board into liquid, and then lets you either connect or disconnect wires and pins. You can buy fresh solder in wire form if you need to add more. Flux paste is useful for protecting boards and guiding solder to connection points. And soldering wick is useful when you want to clean off solder from boards. And that's the basics. Obviously there's a lot more to it, but that's all I've really learned so far. I've always been the kind of guy to tinker around with electronics, and learning how to solder should be a useful skill. I'm planning on using it to fix some controllers, make headphones, mod some consoles. So if any of that interests you, let me know in the comments, and stay tuned for those videos. Today I cleaned my mouse pads. So, I got a lot of mouse pads. I don't really collect them or anything, but for one reason or another, I just keep getting them, which has been nice. If one gets a little too dirty, I can just swap it out. But as you can see, I've run out of clean ones to swap, so time to clean them. I researched for a while the best way to do it, and it seems like a little bit of soapy water with a soft sponge is the way to go. And so I scrubbed, just small circular motions, a bit of pressure, and that's all you really need to get a bunch of gunk off. And after letting them air dry for a whole day, they're much cleaner and ready to be used again. I've also heard that you can throw some of them in the washer and dryer. I wouldn't recommend that just because you never know if yours is going to be able to handle it or not. Also, it's not really that hard, and this isn't going to take that long if you only own like one or two. Have you guys ever cleaned mouse pads before, or do you just buy new ones when they get too dirty? Let me know. Today I made a pair of custom headphones. So I've got a few sets of old headphones that don't work anymore. One of them has speakers that went out, but the shell's good. And the other has good speakers, but the headband's gonna snap. So let's combine them. The first thing to deal with is the wire inside. Pretty sure part of the problem with these headphones was the bad wiring, so we're just gonna need a new one. The next problem is figuring out how to attach the cups. They both had different mechanisms, so I decided to just take the old one, snap off the shell, sand it down, drill some holes, screw it together. It's jank, yeah, but it works. And finally is just soldering the new wires to the old contact points. This is my first time soldering, by the way, don't make fun of me. Put everything together, tape the headband, and voila, a Frankenstein pair of headphones. They sound better than what I was using, it saved me some money on buying some new headphones, and it helped me learn a new skill. I think they turned out pretty good, but what do you guys think? Should I just bought a new pair? Update, they still work. Unfortunately, they have another problem. They are so wide, because I had to essentially staple together two different mounting mechanisms that when you put them on your head for a very long period of time, you typically get a headache, at least for me. There's just a lot of pressure coming in right here, and after an hour or two, it really starts to get to you. But this was one of my first projects for soldering, and I think it was fun. I think it helped me learn a skill. I would say mission is still successful. It also saved me some money. So, yeah, I'm cool with that. Would I recommend doing this kind of a project yourself? Not unless you already have, dead pairs of headphones and stuff. Or if you just really want to try working with soldering. I really only had to solder, 2 things on this. So, I just happen to have everything I need. I wouldn't really recommend it unless it's just something that sounds fun. Today I got an anime figure. After all these years, I've never really bought anime figures. They're usually really expensive, and I've never liked a character that much, But when I heard they were making a figure for Maria from the rhythm game Muse Dash, I finally cracked. I love Muse Dash, I think it's a great game. A couple years ago I blindly picked it up on sale and then stayed up all night playing it. Out of the 3 main characters, I definitely love Maria the most, and at the time this got announced, I was playing it a lot. So much that I shipped in the Japan exclusive collector's edition of the game and ordered a ton of merch, all of which I've made videos on, check it out if you want. As far as the figure goes, I think it's really cool. There's a lot of detail, it looks just like the art it's based off of. They just did a good job. It's neat, But what do you guys think? Do you like anime figures? Do you think they're a waste of money? Or do you think it's cool to have them around the house? I'd like to know. Today I fixed a Guitar Hero controller. So after searching Facebook for a while, I managed to find a nearly brand new Guitar Hero 5 controller. Seriously, this thing feels like it has barely been used. One small problem though, The strum bar and D-pad don't work. So I cracked it open, and after experimenting for a while, I found that the ground wire, for some reason, wasn't sending signal through the main board into the strum board. And, daisy chained to that was also the D-pad board. Everything looked fine, so I'm not sure what caused this, but the solution's pretty simple. Just solder a new ground wire from the main board to the other boards, and it should work perfect. And after testing it, it does. Crazy to think that I've got a nearly brand new controller in 2024. It's actually a little jarring going from a really worn one to this, but hey, I should not be complaining. Soldering has come in handy a few times now, it's a fun skill, and if you want to know more about it, I've made a couple videos using it now. Go check them out. Update, it still works. This one was a lot trickier to fix than the headphones, mainly because I had to track down that stupid grounding issue. Looking back at the footage, I can kind of tell where it broke at. It seems like whoever messed with this before me really tightened down the thumbstick area. And it looked like those traces on the board, I'll probably throw footage up of it. It looks like that's where it slit. Thankfully, just running a ground wire the other way kind of recompleted the circuit. So yeah, thankfully that worked. I still haven't used it too much. My original one is still sitting over there kicking, doing just fine. This was basically a backup guitar in case that breaks, or if anybody else wants to play with me, Today I played Terminal, an escape rooms map on Roblox. Another late night with the boys, another silly Roblox game. Terminal is an incredibly well-built escape room game where you and up to 3 friends can, escape. When we played, there was 4 levels, each ranging from 20 minutes all the way up to an hour and a half to complete.
That one was 45 minutes. This one's time limit's doubled, so this could be a lot longer.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get up. Something I gotta give him credit for, other than, not really having any glitches or bugs that we noticed, is that each level has a story to it, and they're all connected. So it's actually important to play them in order. We ended up failing a couple times. Some of the problems are pretty tough, but we did manage to make it through all 4 parts. Almost all of them came down to the wire. It was a really good challenge. We had a lot of fun, and I absolutely recommend checking it out, either solo or with friends. Let me know if you guys have tried it in the comments, let people know how good it is. Spread the word, and if you haven't played it, go give it a shot. Update, they've added more levels, and all of them are great. Since we made the video, they have come out with a new main room, a couple bonus levels, and a few more easy levels. Jackson and I ran through the new room, at least one of the bonus levels. I don't remember if we ran through the second one or not. And Jackson ran through all the easy ones. Roblox gets a bad rap for being a kid's game and having really, really bad games on it, but there's a ton of really well-made things on it, If you like escape rooms, or if you just like yelling at your friends for an extended period of time, definitely give it a shot. It's a really well-made experience. Today I built a custom all-in-one PC. This PC's name is Bolts, because when I got it, never had a side panel, so I bolted a cut-up piece of plastic onto it from a cheap picture frame. So let's stick with that theme, let's keep bolting things to it. First I drilled some holes through the case, cut some spare wood, and bolted all that together, making sure to leave this one piece sticking out under it. That way it gives us enough leverage to mount a monitor to it. Next I had some speakers that I got for free, so I'm just gonna zip tie those behind the screen. I had a spare bit of peel and stick mirror, so I, slapped that on the inside. And finally, no PC is complete without RGB. With a Gen 3 i5, 8 gigs of RAM, and a Dream, he'll be perfect for not much. But it's been a fun project, You guys have any ideas for things that I could keep bolting onto him though? Let me know in the comments, and maybe, just maybe, I'll make a Bolts 3.0 sometime soon. Today I tried BeatBlock. BeatBlock is a new rhythm game that I heard about on Twitter. The concept's pretty simple. You take control of this little guy with a paddle in the middle of the screen, and then you move your mouse around in a circle to hit notes as they come your way. There's also notes that you have to click when they reach you. There's these long guys you have to hit with the side of your paddle, and there are these notes you have to spin around and hit with the back side of your paddle. All this combined makes the game both really simple to learn and really complex when songs want to be. Currently, the demo features a handful of songs that go from pretty easy and fun to a little bit harder. To be fair, that's probably just because the game is brand new. I'm not used to the mechanics yet, but hopefully the full game has a bit more of a gentle learning curve to its set list. There's also a level editor, so you can make your own songs and import other songs people have made. There's already a surprising amount of custom songs that you can check out on the BeatBlock Discord. I think this game's got a good future ahead of it, and I'm looking forward to the full release. But what do you guys think? Does it look like fun? Have you tried it? Let me know in the comments. Today I swapped to Everdries. Everdries are a way for you to play your digital backups of games physically on your consoles, that you have legally obtained, of course. To do this, you just have to load up an SD card with the software from their website, then put all of your legally obtained ROMs on that SD card, then put it in the cartridge, and you're good to go. You don't even have to mod the console or anything, you just put the cartridge in and it plays like normal. You might be wondering though, why go through this effort? Well, these let you preserve physical cartridges, conveniently play your games, easily back up your save data, and try out fan games and ROM hacks. I've been using these for a couple months now, and they work perfectly. Zero complaints here. There's other brands too. Everdrive is just the big name brand, but you can find much cheaper flash cards if you don't want the fancy features. But keep in mind, the cheaper you go, the less compatible they might be with games, so make sure to do your research beforehand. But what do you guys think? Would you use flash cards? Let me know. Update, all of them still work perfectly. In fact, I'm so satisfied with these things that I actually sold a pretty good chunk of my retro game collection. I won't get super into that part. I do think I'd like to make a bit of a longer video discussing that, but like, these things rule. If you're the kind of person who wants that retro charm of playing on like native hardware with like a little CRT TV or something, and you don't want to, spend your whole life savings collecting retro games, you just kind of want to play them, this is absolutely the way to go. Do your research, of course. Each one of these is going to have some kind of small downside. Not every game is going to be compatible with like every kind of flash cart, but they're convenient, they work pretty well, and they'll let you play a lot of games that you might not otherwise be able to. So I think these things are awesome. Everdrive or just other flash carts, Everdrive's just the big one, so I don't regret my purchase. I think they're cool. Today I repaired my DSi. This DSi used to belong to a friend of mine, and it was ran over by a car. Still turns on and plays, but the shoulder buttons don't work. So I'm gonna replace those, swap the shell, and just breathe some new life into this thing. This took several hours. Basically anything after the Game Boy Advanced is a nightmare to repair. Also, this DSi shell, while looking cool, is not the greatest build quality. When it's all put together, it feels pretty solid, but there's several screw holes that weren't tapped correctly, and there's parts that just don't feel like they lined up right. But hey, I guess that's what you get when you buy from AliExpress. Anyways, I swapped the shoulder buttons, spent about 4 hours meticulously moving everything, performed open heart surgery on 2 touch screens, closed everything up, tested it out, and it's done. This was a ton of work, and I don't really recommend doing this unless you're just like tinkering with things, but it's nice that my barely functional console is now working and looks awesome. And hey, if you also think this looks pretty cool, I also shell swapped the GBA not too long ago, so go check that video out if you haven't. Update, it works great, and that actually goes for all of the consoles that I shell swapped and, upgraded recently. One that I didn't make a video for, I think it showed up in the R4 one though, is shell swapping the DS Lite. Originally, I did order a DS Lite shell as part of that whole AliExpress package, but that part of the order got canceled, so I found this on Facebook Marketplace and just kind of went with it. I thought it looked cool. This one took me several hours, and it was slightly easier than the DSi, I would say. So it's between the Game Boy and the DSi in complexity. Sadly, I did not use the right screws right here on this hinge, so I don't really know how long it's gonna last. I don't know. It seems like it'll last me still a good while, but like, I spent like $10 on the shell. I can't be that upset. All of them do work pretty well though. I would recommend doing shell swapping and stuff if you know how to use a screwdriver and if you're patient, and you just like the look, Today I upgraded my retro gaming cart. A little while ago I showed off my little gaming cart. I love having all my consoles hooked up like this. It just makes it easy, you can wheel it around anywhere, plug in one cable, turn things on, and just kick back and play. But only having 3 shelves made things feel a little cluttered. So I fired up Facebook Marketplace and found an exact match to the cart I already bought. Crazy, I know. I went and picked it up, merged the shelves with mine, and now I've got pretty much exactly what I envisioned I wanted this cart to be. There isn't much space left, but I've got pretty much everything I want. I know some people are going to be screaming about the PS2 and the Xbox, but the PS2 I can play on my PC and modded PS3, and the OG Xbox has no games, so I don't need to worry about it. This little cart's been a lot of fun though. It's the perfect little setup for me to play on. But what do you guys think? Does the idea of a gaming cart sound good for you? Or would you rather just hook up consoles to a big old TV in the living room? Let me know. Today I completed Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast. Recently I built this little gaming cart and figured the best way to break it in is finally completing one of my favorite childhood games, Sonic Adventure 2. Now I grew up playing the GameCube version, which has several improvements, most notably more Chow Karate, and a significantly better controller. But I really wanted to experience what the original game was like. So much that I actually had to repair my Dreamcast twice just to get through this game. I spent nearly 50 hours playing every character, every A rank, completing all the Chow races, kart races, boss rush, story mode, and got all 180 emblems to finally unlock Green Hill Zone. A bonus stage that I always heard about as a kid, but never got to play. I'd still recommend the battle version over the original. It just doesn't feel complete without the expanded Chow Garden. I'm just happy I can finally say that I've 100%ed one of my childhood favorites. If you've never played the Sonic Adventure games, they're a bit clunky at times, but check them out. They're a lot of fun. Today I made a wireless GameCube controller. 8BitDo is known for making great controllers, but they also make mod kits that let you turn your retro controllers into modern Bluetooth ones. I've been waiting years for a GameCube mod kit, and they finally made one. But now that I got it, how is it? It's pretty good. Assembling it was easy enough. The rumble motor is the hardest part since you need to cut the old one and splice 2 wires, but that's really not that hard, and you don't even have to worry about it if you don't care about rumble. I already had a broken controller laying around, so I just used its shell, put it all together, and it works pretty well. The sticks are now Hall effect, so it shouldn't drift. They also click now, so that's 2 extra buttons the controller never had. My only issue so far is the analog triggers. Supposedly they work in D input mode, but I've had pretty mixed results. For $30, it's pretty cool. It'll sync to the Switch, phone, PC. It's great for emulation or just playing a Smash-like on Steam. But what do you guys think? Would you get something like this? Update. I still cannot get the analog triggers to function properly. It looks like the main problem with this kit is that it only has a Switch mode and an Android mode, or D input. Switch mode doesn't support analog triggers because the Switch doesn't support that, and Android mode should. It's just not working. Typically these controllers will come with X input, which is the default for Windows and Xbox, and that should support it perfectly. I've had other controllers that have analog triggers that support it perfectly with no problems. But for some reason, they didn't include X input on this thing. Regardless of why it isn't working, I think it's pretty lame. Analog triggers do matter quite a bit when you're trying to, emulate GameCube games, which is probably why you would buy one of these, so you can play them on your computer easier. Maybe there's a firmware update that I've just missed, maybe I couldn't find it. I did find a workaround in Dolphin, though. If you set the L and R analog option to just pushing the button down, not clicking it all the way, you can right-click the input to open settings, and then type in the command window -0.2. This will make it so that when you push the trigger down, it'll only count it about 80% of the way, regardless of where you're pushing it. It's not the perfect solution, but it'll work fine for most games. That being said, with all these issues, do I still recommend getting this? It depends. If you have a broken controller and you just think that these kind of things are neat, sure, it's like $30. But is it definitively the way to play GameCube games on PC? No, not by any means. You should still use a GameCube adapter and just hook up a regular controller or a Wavebird if you really want the wireless aspect. It's a shame, too. 8BitDo makes, really good products, so I'm kind of disappointed in this one. It's good, it's not perfect, I kind of expect perfection since I've moved to basically only using their SN30 Pro controllers, so oh well. Today I played Hotel Havoc 2 in Fortnite. Made by Terra creators, Hotel Havoc 2 is a new and improved version of the first map. It's a roguelike where you and some friends are locked in a hotel, and you have to clear through rooms of bad guys to get out. Every elimination you get gives you coins that you can spend on buffs or unlocking new sets of weapons. These weapons then have a chance of appearing after every room you clear. Each room clear grants 4 random items, but you only get to keep 1. So the first couple rooms can really decide the playstyle for the rest of the run. You can also spend coins on leveling up the enemies. The higher their level, the more coins they'll drop, so there's a pretty good cycle of spending money to make money here. Every few rooms, the goons are going to increase in difficulty, and you'll fight mini-bosses. My friends and I played through this more than we should probably admit. We even found some ways to cheese the system, but I won't share those here because that's for you to go find out when you go play it for yourself. Go check it out, the island code's on screen. Update. The game is still great, you should still go play it, and I just wanted to let you know that Hotel Havoc 3 is in public beta. You can try that out right now. I haven't tried it yet. I'll try that soon. I didn't talk about Hotel Havoc 1 in the first part, which, I mean, we did play it, and it's also good. You know, I think you should go give it a shot. I do think 2's better, though. I also did a little deep dive on the creators of the game, and it turns out they have a pretty interesting history. They're an actual game studio. Like, not just a Fortnite creator, like, they've actually made projects, like, they have their own games, and they've worked with other companies. You know, they've done stuff for Namco, Disney, and Atari. They've also produced games like Space Chimps on the Nintendo DS. I just found that fascinating. I wanted to share that fact with you. Anyways, Hotel Havoc is good. You should go give it a shot. Today I completed Super Mario Eclipse, a new mod for Mario Sunshine. All of base Sunshine is still here, but Mario's moveset's been updated to give you more movement options. There are several new massive levels that feel right at home. They made it so you don't have to back out to levels to keep collecting shines. They added new ways to travel between levels, making it feel like a semi-open world game. You can unlock 2 additional characters, and they added a new final boss, since now there's more shines to collect. There's an after-game area, which I won't spoil because it's insane, but it gives you like 6 more levels to explore, and then after all of that, there's an after game with dozens of mini levels. I'm honestly at a loss for how much they packed into the mod. It's crazy. Oh, and also it's 60 FPS, just to top that all off. So yeah, I spent a good week completing the entire game. Do I recommend it? Yeah, absolutely. Probably the best way to play Mario Sunshine now. You can find the mod on Game Banana, and if you haven't played it, go give it a shot. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know a lot of people see shorts and TikToks as like easy, nothing content. YouTube doesn't even notify you whenever one comes out. But at least for this series, I put in, I would say, about as much effort as I do for main videos. It takes time to do, you know, whatever the video's about, and then they're heavily scripted, and then I gotta plan out all the B-roll, and then I gotta do captions, which takes forever. They seem very simple, but like, you know, a lot of work goes into these. Regardless, I think the series has done very well, and I'm always happy to see and read new comments and respond to them. I'm excited to keep making more of these. I have been kicking around the idea of just making longer Today I videos though, because there's some topics that I just kind of want to go a little bit more in, but not like too much more. But also YouTube has raised shorts to be up to 3 minutes now. There's a lot of ways that I could like evolve the content and keep things growing, but like, I don't know. You know, we'll figure that out when we do. I think the series being shorts only is part of the charm, you know? I think me having to find a creative way to tell you everything in under a minute is part of what makes it special. But there's some topics that you kind of need a little bit more time to talk about. I think if anything, you're just going to start seeing more long form, just normal videos, and then some Today Eyes that might kind of play into it, you know? Not quite a promotional piece. I don't like just making ads, but like, you know, 2 videos that might kind of promote each other, you know, if it makes sense to do so. Anyways, again, thank you for coming along this journey of all the random stuff I do. It's been a pretty good year, both for, you know, real life, the channel, and the series. I will see you guys next year. Have a good one. And if there's anything you'd like me to try for Today I series, let me know, you know? That's what the comments are there for. Oh, and finally, if you haven't seen it, maybe you're new, or maybe you just, you know, missed it. We did a video just like this last year. So go check out 2023's best of if you want to see more.